He's going all the way. 20, 15, 10. Touchdown. Texas Tech takes home the victory.
All right, welcome to the Broadway Shuffle. We appreciate you tuning in, whether on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or Texas Tech Plus. We are so glad you are here. As always, make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube or follow on Spotify and Apple, and download the Texas Tech app for all the latest news and content. Texas Tech football will be playing this week. We have finally made it. I'm Brennan here with Zyler and Conrad. Boys, it's time for football. How are we doing today?
We're here, man. We made it. We survived the offseason. We're ready for a Big 12 title. So I couldn't be more excited for week 1 against Arkansas Pine Bluff. And I'm just so happy we made it. And now we have endless content to talk about until, really end of April next year, mid-April next year. So we're here and we're excited to see what the future holds for Texas Tech athletics.
Yeah, 2 things. My wife was a little bit confused why we were going to watch a lot of football on Saturday, but Tech wasn't playing. She was trying to get that through her head, and I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, it's kicking off. She's like, but Tech's not playing. I was like, yeah, this is just what we're doing today. So that was a lot of fun. 2, the initial SP Plus spread came out for the Arkansas Pine Bluff Tech game. Do any of you want to take a gander at what the projected point spread was?
Ooh, I have not seen this yet.
Not Vegas. This is SP Plus. Just give it a number.
Total points? Is that 50, what you're asking?
Total points for the game? What Tech was favored by?
35 and
40.
61.
Oh,
so
my
if
goodness.
you do not beat Pine Bluff by 61, that will be a failure by one of the premier analytic models. So, Joey and Co., if you're listening, man, really keep on the gas, man. You're going to have to score a lot of points.
For Zyler's wallet, please keep scoring. Yeah.
Yeah, the Arkansas Pine Bluff Lions, I think, not getting a ton of respect from the premier analytics site over at ESPN. But yeah, super excited, man. Depth charts coming out today when you're listening to it. We'll have all our overreactions on Twitter. Really, really excited to get into the season. Should be a lot of fun.
Conrad, do you know where Arkansas Pine Bluff is located?
I mean, it's in Arkansas. I can read.
But
the city?
Is the city, is it Pine Bluff? Is that the name of the city?
I would assume so. I'm no expert on Arkansas universities. I think my feelings about the only university that I knew of in Arkansas are pretty well documented on this podcast. So I do not know the exact location of Arkansas Pine Bluff, but I would assume it's in I know it's in the state of Arkansas.
It's somewhere in Arkansas. Yeah, I don't know where it is either.
What a pull.
Yeah. It's a large state.
Conrad's 1 for 1. So Texas Tech gets rolling 6:30, August 30th. We're missing Clayton tonight, by the way. He was unable to make it. We landed from Chicago. We had a great time in Chicago. I don't know if you boys have been, but Chicago was a ton of fun. But Texas Tech kicks off on that. Wow, where am I? I might still be in Chicago.
Here, Brennan, let me help you a little bit.
6:30, August 30th, Conrad. Help me out.
The only place that any Red Raider is thinking about right now is not Chicago. It's not Los Angeles. It's not New York. It's not Miami. It's not Atlanta. It's not Dallas. It's Lubbock, Texas. That's the only place in the world that matters right now because of what's about to happen on Saturday. So who cares about Chicago? I hope you had a great time. But Lubbock, Texas is where all Red Raider eyes are this week.
They are, man. And we had some Big 12 Week 0 games as well. We're going to get into a little bit later in the show as well. But wanted to start off, we've been talking all offseason about this team and about this year for Texas Tech, and we finally made it 2-game week. And so all the hype, all the noise. Conrad, I wanted to go to you first. Is this the biggest year for Texas Tech football ever?
Without a doubt. This is the biggest year so far for Texas Tech football. I don't think this is the last big year you're going to have. I think the program is moving in a great direction, but I do think so far, considering everything that's happened this offseason, this is the biggest year for Texas Tech football. I think all the expectations are right there in front of you. I think this league is wide open. I think you've had the best roster you've had in years coming into 2025. I think you got a healthy quarterback. You got 2 great coordinators that, although unproven, have shown at other stops what you need to see to know that they're going to be successful here in the red and black. And so I think it's going to be an exciting year. I think you're going to see a lot of football that's played really well by the Red Raiders. And yeah, this will be a year that I think will be one to remember, and I'm cautiously optimistic, maybe a little bit more than cautiously optimistic, but we'll see, and we'll finally get to see it with our own eyes this Saturday night under the lights at Jones AT&T Stadium at 6:30 in Lubbock, Texas.
Zyler, you'll be in attendance. Is this something you've obviously grown up in Lubbock, been a Texas Tech guy your whole life, family went to Tech, you've been going to games since you were probably born. Is this the most amped you've been for a season ever? And that includes 2008. I know you were younger, but you're going to be there Saturday night. Is this the most excited you've been walking into the Jones in your life?
Probably. I think this is the most confident I've been that we at least have a pretty good team. I don't know that we have a great team yet. You still got to see the pads pop, and you got to see what you actually have on the field. It's the most confident I've ever been that we have a pretty good team, though, and that's really exciting. And I think I can. There was rarely seasons, and this is maybe a little bit sad, where I was thinking about Big 12 championships. Never really thought about like, oh, we got to make the Big 12. We have a chance to make the Big 12 title game. This is really the first year that I've thought, yeah, you've got a path. You can do this. And I think that's really exciting. Thinking about championships when it comes to your football program is so much more fun than thinking about, please, dear God, can we claw our way to a bowl game that's not against a AAC team? Like, that is just so much more fun. The expectations are so much more elevated. And I enjoy that. So that's been a lot of fun. It reminds me of what you've gotten to experience with the basketball team the past, 5-6 years. So I guess 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. And your athletic program, basketball, baseball, football, women's softball, they've all had their moment in the last decade. And this feels like it's finally Texas Tech football time to kind of step up to the plate and have their moment as well. Awesome job by Grant McCaslin as well, speaking to the Tech football team earlier this week. I loved watching that. That got me pumped up as well. I had a question from a friend who is a Red Raider alum, and he was asking, what do you know and what do you think about the receiving core this year? Who do you think is going to be leading our team in receiving? And it was actually something that I thought was interesting because we've been hearing a lot about Terrence Carter out of camp. We've been hearing a lot about Coy Aiken, obviously, Caleb Douglas, Reggie Virgil, and then, you've got Micah Hudson and some potentials. Kelby Vaslin had a good second scrimmage. Conrad, if you had to guess right now, going into the week, who will be Texas Tech's leading receiver at the end of the season? Who would you say? Because I was actually kind of intrigued. I feel like it could be any of those guys I just mentioned. It doesn't seem like you have a true number one yet.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think you could go a lot of different ways with this. I'll take the safe route. I'll take that option away from Zyler, so he has to go maybe a more eclectic route. But I think I'll go with the Caleb Douglas connection with Barron. I think they played together for a year. I think Caleb has showed he's got a lot of potential. I think he's got all the talent in the world, and so I think him, along with the chemistry that he has with Barron, will really lead well to him potentially being your leading receiver at the end of the year. I could see Coy having that happen. It just depends on what the snap count is for each of these guys, right? How many targets are they getting? Where are they getting featured? Where's the ball going? Are they really meshing with Barron on these option routes, right? Because we talked about Leftwich's offense, how there are a lot of choice routes, how receiver can go different ways, how the quarterback and the receiver have to be on the same page. So for that reason, I'd probably pick Caleb Douglas because of the chemistry and the talent. So I don't know, Zyler, would you maybe go Micah Hudson, maybe Reggie Virgil, maybe somebody else?
No.
You can't take the safe route, man. I already took that option. I took that.
No, I think you made the best, the highest likelihood. I think Caleb Douglas is slotted to be that for you this year. I think if I had to pick somebody else, it's probably Reggie. I don't know that he's going to have a ton of catches this year. I think his catches will be loud. That's where I think you could see some games with him where he has like 3 for 28, and you're going to have some games where he's like 5 for 190. That's maybe my outside shot, but I think Caleb Douglas makes a lot more sense. He to me is a much more well-rounded receiver, both in possession scenarios, in screens, and deep balls. He can do a lot more of that than what I've seen Reggie do.
Yeah, this is one group that I'm really excited to see because it does seem like you have more skill at this position that you've had in a while, and it's deep. And so, I mean, if you have a guy like Vaslin or Micah come up and play big minutes, that's going to only help your offense, right? And so I think this is something that is exciting for Texas Tech football going into 2025. So we'll see, man. We've still got an episode on Thursday. We're going to preview the whole game, go through predictions, go through picks. If you're new to the Broadway Shuffle, again, make sure to like the video, subscribe. But every Thursday, we will be releasing an episode previewing, and then every Monday we'll be reacting. So make sure to tune in every Monday and Thursday for that. So we'll have everything. I don't know how much the preview, Z, you usually run our previews. I don't know how much we'll get into Arkansas Pine Bluff too much. We overlooked Abilene Christian last year, and that didn't turn out too well for us. So maybe we need to deep dive a little more. But that's what we'll be doing on Thursday. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, all right, let's get to Big 12. Or Conrad, go ahead. Sorry, before we get to Big 12 Week 0, you got something to say?
I want to make a promise to our listeners. We will tell you on Thursday morning the exact coordinates of Arkansas Pine Bluff University. That will be included on the preview show. We do not know those. We will get those to you to make sure you have all the information you need to know before the Red Raiders beat the Pine Bluffs. Or is that what they are? The Pine Bluffs?
I think they're the
You don't even know their mascot name. We've got a lot of
their mascot.
They have that.
Hey,
they have
we will learn
cool
just as much
mascot.
as you will about the Arkansas Pine Bluff University football team on Thursday.
They're the Golden Lions.
They're that
Lions.
really creepy mascot.
No, it has UAPB in it. So look at the lion's mane. Well, maybe we'll pull it up Thursday. You can see the U, the A, the P, and the B in the lion mane.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Let's pull that up Thursday. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm excited, man. This is going to be a fun year. When we started this podcast a year ago, guys, we had no one listening to our Week 0 or Week 1 preview Abilene Christian. So it'll be nice to have a little bit of a following going into this year, and we can't wait for all the content and success that Texas Tech football will bring. So, okay, Week 0, Iowa State,
I'm
K-State.
so excited for this. I'm so excited to talk about this.
There was Big 12 football. There is a last place team currently in the Big 12 now, and that is the Kansas State Wildcats at 0-1 in conference. This was kind of what I expected the game to be. Iowa State comes out with a victory in Dublin, 24-21. Rough game. It was a little rainy. Slow start to the game. It was 7-7 late in the third quarter. Z, initial thoughts on Iowa State, K-State. Texas Tech gets K-State later this year on the road in Manhattan, Kansas. So was this a good result for Texas Tech, you think, or would you have rather seen K-State be undefeated or, first, second in the conference? And there's still a lot of football left to be played, but were you hoping for a K-State win if you're Texas Tech, or were you excited to see the Cyclones get it done?
Yeah, two trains of thought. I mean, there's some people that want K-State to be as good as possible. So when you go into Manhattan, Kansas, if you win that game, it's a high notch on your resume. And if you lose, it's not as big of a deal. I think I was happy. I think Kansas State was perceived as a bigger threat to win the title than Iowa State was. But with that game, we'll get into the game in itself. Iowa State's path to the title is a lot easier now. I mean, I think they avoid Utah, they avoid Tech, they avoid Baylor. Their biggest game will be Arizona State on paper. They're going to play Cincinnati. They're going to play Arizona. They're going to play a lot of these bottom. They've got a nice shot at the game, and the title odds after this game were dramatic. Kansas State, I think, dropped out of the top 7 for Big 12 title odds after being the favorite. So crazy stuff happening in the betting markets if you care about that kind of stuff. And Iowa State vaulted in the top 5, but not the favorite, which I thought was interesting. As a Tech fan, I think this was an okay outcome. I think it's what I was rooting for, but I don't think it's a huge difference either way. You're still going to have to go out there and win games. It's not changing anything for you right now.
Yeah, Conrad, I know you weren't able to catch much of the game, but thoughts on Iowa State and Rocco Becht. He was only 14 of 28, I believe, 50% completion, had a couple of fumbles, but still had a clutch touchdown there late in the game. I know Clayton thinks Rocco Becht is one of the worst quarterbacks in the conference. He made that apparent on Saturday. But thoughts on Iowa State specifically before we get to the Kansas State drama?
Yeah, I'll say this. I mean, Brennan, you have a thing for a quarterback with a 57% completion percentage in Dampier at Utah. Zyler, you also have a thing for around a 50% completion percentage quarterback at Rocco Becht. So I guess everybody's got to find their 50%er that they love. And so I'll say that. I mean, I say that tongue in cheek. Rocco played really well at the end of that game. I mean, what you saw from him is what we expect to see from him, right? I mean, he's a gamer. No one's arguing that. I think he's a good player. I will say it was interesting to me, watching a little bit of that game because I did catch some of it, just not all of it. And then just thinking about the outcome and how Iowa State was able to win, because I don't know if I can't remember if I picked them or if I didn't. I don't know if we even did that, but I thought the Kansas State would pull it out, honestly, mainly because of the dynamic duo of Matt Wells and Avery Johnson. But I guess we're not able to deliver. And Jaron Bradley too. You can't forget him. So yeah, I don't know. I think Kansas State can still do something this year, but at the same time, thinking about Iowa State and what they did, looking at their path forward, I mean, maybe they're a little bit scarier to me now because they do have a really easy path. So we'll see. But congratulations to the Cyclones. We still beat you in Ames last year. But we'll see you. Maybe we'll see you in the Big 12 title game. You never know.
Yeah, and if you're looking at K-State's schedule, real quick, Z, Big 12 related, they get North Dakota and Army at home, but they go at Arizona, who versus UCF. So their first two Big 12 games look very winnable for them. They'll be favored at Baylor versus TCU, at Kansas, and then at home against us. So when I'm looking at their schedule, I mean, Baylor and TCU will be tough. They'll be favored probably in 4 of those 5. So this team could still be a one-loss Big 12 team when you're traveling to Manhattan November 1st. So that's a potential because they do have some games, and TCU's at home as well. So, it's not like they're out of the race at all. People are still very high on them. But like you mentioned, I mean, huge opportunity for Iowa State to go get a big 12 win early in Ireland. And according to Cyclone Larry on Twitter, they were having a ton of fun out there in Dublin. So good for the Cyclones.
And it looked, man, what a great representation for the Big 12. Like the stands were packed, looked like a fun environment. I mean, that was a really neat showcase. You hated that the weather was kind of bad. And so that's where I think some of the takeaways are hard. Kansas State loses their left tackle, their best running back, and, probably their best safety before the season. And so that's something where all 3 of those guys are probably going to be back by the time you play them. And then the other thing, it's just like when you evaluate rosters, the questions I had about Kansas State were, has Avery Johnson progressed as a passer intermediate in the intermediate areas and on layered throws? And do they have an offensive line? And is the secondary up for this challenge? Because they lost a lot of guys. And the answers for me on all 3 of those were pretty resounding no's. Avery Johnson still does not make layered throws over the middle of the field very often.
What's a layered throw for someone that might not know?
So something where you're throwing it over the linebacker, but underneath the safety, something where it has a lot of touch on it. You're not firing a bullet. It's not like a lob. But it's something where you're tossing it just right over that second level of the defense. Avery Johnson does not make difficult throws very often, and his stat line is really deceiving. I think he was 21 for 29 with 270 yards, and he had some crucial drop to defend him a little bit. Jerron Bradley, our favorite Kansas State Wildcat, he had a big drop on 4th down that I think maybe changes the game a little bit there. And he did have those 2 touchdown throws, but they were both awful Iowa State miscues. Just a complete misread by that young Iowa State secondary for a 70-yard touchdown and then a 40-yard bomb to Jace Brown, which he still made the throws. Those still go into the stat sheet. But if you take both of those away, it was 170 yards. He just doesn't throw down the field. And I don't know whether that's a scheme thing. He's not typically very accurate. They run a lot of short stuff behind the sticks, and it sounds exactly like the Texas Tech experience circa 2018 through 2021. Just like, oh dude, what is this call? Like, yeah, sometimes I get when you can't execute, you have a good call and the guy's just he gets sacked, but I don't know what they're doing with him. He does not impress me much right now. He's good, he's just not, I don't think he's great yet.
Maybe
would you take him or Baron Morton right now?
After watching that, because I'm optimistic, the young guy, you're like, man, the ceiling's a lot higher. After seeing that, granted, that you got the slippery conditions, there's a lot of stuff happening there, and his accuracy was good, but it's all short stuff for the most part. I would take Barron over Johnson right now, though. That's a little bit of home cooking, but just what I saw there, it looked exactly like he looked last year, and that was a fine quarterback, a really, really good runner, not somebody that I think is anything more than a slightly above average passer. So, and that's my take on him. That's what a lot of scouts think about him. You're fine to disagree with me.
Well, maybe that's why his dad beat up his brother after the game. Maybe they can't accept the fact that he's average and his dad had to take it out on someone. He took it out on his eldest son. Let's get into that. I can't when this dropped on Twitter, dude. I thought it was fake, and we were on the plane last night. You got from I don't know if you guys know this, but I was in Chicago. We were on the plane.
Did you see Michael Jordan while you were there?
I did see Michael Jordan's statue and his restaurant actually. But Clayton and I were watching the video and we're like, that's his dad. And that's his brother. We were like looking up pictures of his family. This was crazy. This is one of the wildest scenes I've seen after a football game ever. This isn't two people from opposing fans. This isn't two fans from Texas Tech who had a little too much liquid getting into it after a game. This is dad and brother of star quarterback getting into it, fist fighting, having to get broken up in Dublin, Ireland after a game. If you have not seen this video, you've got to search it. It was wild. I wish we could show it, but it was just crazy to see.
My biggest question for both of you is, did either of you know that Avery Johnson's dad was black? Did anybody know that?
No.
I had no idea.
No.
And I know that's not important, but I was like, you saw the video and it's like, where are his parents? And it's like,
and then
that's them right there.
And his dad's bald. So like, where does his hair come from? Because regardless of the guy's quarterback play, he's got the locks, man. He's got the
great hair.
He's got wonderful hair. So it's kind of like, where did that come from? It's crazy. I had no idea about his family history, and I had no idea that his dad.
You don't spend time Googling quarterbacks' family history?
I don't. I'm going to start though, because now I'm seeing who else is out there willing to beat up their other son because their other son loses, which makes me wonder about Avery Johnson's upbringing, and I feel maybe we need to look into that more. But this was just crazy, dude. I mean, hey, it
was a wild video. If you have not seen the video, it is insane. You think about being a 20-year-old college athlete, you hop on the plane after a really devastating loss, and then you see a video of your dad and your brother duking it out in the park. Like, that would suck a lot. Like,
it would be.
That's not something I'd want to deal with. All kidding aside, that sucks.
It sucks for him.
And to be clear, I was being totally facetious with that. I don't understand. I mean, that's not a good look for Avery, and I don't know.
That's not on Avery. That's not.
It's not on Avery, but it's not good that the only reason people are, or not the only reason, but a large part of the reason now that people are still talking about it, that we're still talking about it, is because it's his dad and brother. So it's an unfortunate situation all the way around, and I don't know. I hope it's all sorted out. Is all I'll say about it.
They did issue an apology.
They issued an apology,
but it was a good one.
It was a good apology. It was well written by the Kansas State public relations team there.
Exactly right.
Because that was not written by Mr. Johnson. I have no respect for that.
Did ChatGPT write it, or did
probably
the Kansas State?
Okay, that's a good point. The other thing, if thinking about sitting here as a Kansas fan, you watch, you probably, if it's not Missouri, your most hated rival, go overseas as the Big 12 favorite, get beat by Matt Campbell again for the fourth time in 5 tries. Their star quarterback has his family erupt in a brawl outside after the game, and then you open a new stadium and dominate your Mountain West opponent. Like, it could not have been a better day to be a Kansas fan.
Yeah,
it was that could have been better.
And Jalen Daniels looked great, 18 of 20, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And it's Fresno, but they're a Mountain West team. They're not. It's not an FCS team or a low level FBS. That's a good conference, or a decent conference in college football, and it's Kansas. I did see like a picture of the stadium, and it was half of it was a real horse on that one half, and the other side was a stick figure drawn. Did you see that? I thought that was really funny because I had never seen their stadium until yesterday. But yeah, they're an interesting team going into this year for a lot of reasons. Jalen Daniels has been highly touted for a while, can't stay healthy, but when he is healthy, they're pretty good. They had a good run last year. They were kind of the giant killers in the Big 12 a little bit last year. Lance Leipold's one of the best coaches in the conference. So a good start for the Jayhawks. That's a team on your schedule. They'll be coming to Lubbock. After watching them, Z, any concern that we might be overlooking the Kansas game or better than advertising? I know it's week 1, but we're here to react to it, or week 0, but we are here to react to it. So any concern on that we need to be thinking more about Kansas here in a month and a half?
Yeah, I think I upgraded them slightly on my power ratings. I mean, it was a 14-point spread. And now Fresno State, not in a great, they lost a lot from last year. New coach, still building. Kansas State had the better offensive line and defensive line, and I think that will not be the case very often in the Big 12. I didn't think their defensive line was as good as they probably hoped it was going to be, but it was still good. It's going to be the best Kansas defensive line you've probably ever seen in our lifetime as a Big 12 fan. Man, Jalen Daniels looked really good. He's accurate. He's quick. And the way that Zabrowski, or I think his name's Zabrowski, runs their scheme, they get that ball out extremely quick. That is going to be an offense that's going to negate a lot of your pass rushers. Very rarely are they going to do a 3 or a 5-step drop back and just throw it. Like, they are doing a ton of misdirection, a ton of running. They're going to be kind of designed to counter what you do, except you've got those big units on the inside. So we'll see. I think they look better than I thought. I'm going to wait until I see them against Missouri, though, to really move them up as a contender. But I mean, Jalen Daniels was really accurate. He's got to protect himself more when he plays, though, man. He takes incredibly hard hits that he does not have to. I mean, he has just got to get down. He's got to slide, and he's got to throw the ball away and not get nailed on some of these plays, or he's not going to play a full season again. So yeah, I think they look good.
And I wanted to bring this question up to you guys because they get Wagner at home on Friday, so that's 2-0. They go at Missouri. You mentioned their biggest rival, Kansas State. Maybe it's Missouri. After that, their slate up until the game in Lubbock is versus West Virginia, versus Cincinnati, at UCF. All three, again, winnable games. So same thing we mentioned with Kansas State, Texas Tech could be looking at Kansas coming into Lubbock undefeated. If they beat Missouri, they're probably going to be favored in those 3 games. I mean, West Virginia, Cincinnati,
be favored either way.
Either way, and so you're looking at, even if they lose to Missouri, they could be 3-0 in conference heading into Lubbock that week. Yep. So this is a team to keep an eye on. The schedule is favorable, the home games are favorable, and even that road game at UCF is favorable for them as well. So going to be a bigger game maybe than we would have anticipated early on. It just goes to show you can't overlook any game on the schedule in the Big 12. Any team could still theoretically beat any team in this conference. You got to be ready to go. And if you're Texas Tech, looking at Pine Bluff, you're a 61-point favorite according to S&P. I don't even know what that is, but that's a lot of points. I do know that's a lot of points, Conrad, to be favored against. So these next 3 weeks, serious tune-up, need for improvements for Texas Tech to be prepared for some of these teams coming up in September and October.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, it's huge, and I think it's something that we know the last 2 years. Week 1 for us has been one time it didn't work out for us. The other time it was very, very difficult to get a W. And so I think just thinking about this season and everything that's in front of us, and even talking about Kansas and Kansas State, you've just got to take care of business, and everything's got to be clicking. And I think the biggest thing for me after the Quentin Joyner injury for these first 3 games is just, can we get out of these healthy? Can we just get out healthy? Can Jacoby, can Cam be healthy? Can the offensive line get healthy and stay healthy? Because that'll be a big deal, thinking about what you want to do in the Big 12 this year. And if you're going to compete in every game and you're going to win every game like we think you can, you've got to be healthy, because injuries can derail a season very, very quickly. And so you need to be very fortunate on that front there. But I think Kansas, Jalen Daniels, if he's healthy the entire year, I'm not going to be surprised whatever Kansas does, because he's a good player, and I think he's got a ton of talent. And so if he stays healthy, I think that would, especially after seeing those highlights from Saturday, I think that would drastically, not drastically, but it would change my take on Kansas a little bit this year if he does end up staying healthy and playing at the level that we know he can, because we've seen him do it. So I think Kansas will be an interesting team to watch this year, as both of you guys mentioned.
Izzy, you mentioned your power ratings there in that section. Yeah. I feel like for the viewers, and even for me, because I don't even know if I know how in depth you really go on this, you're just, maybe explain, you're not a full-time college football expert, though we think you're an expert. You do have a day job, and you're a dad. To explain your ratings a little bit. I'm actually kind of curious, like, in terms of you do this for fun. You analyze all these teams on your own time.
Sure.
As well, too, before we get to the Tommies.
The 30-second basis is, how do I take SP Plus and improve upon it based on positional value? So taking, if you have the 8th best offensive line in the unit, in the country, how does that translate into actual team strength? Is it worth 10%, 12%, 16%? And so grading all the Big 12 teams and then comparing them against each other in that way takes a lot of time. You grade on recruiting, returning production, depth, and then potential. That's how I do it. And then those are also uniquely weighted. So I'll spend, anywhere from 14 to 16 hours on each team. And this is a big pat on the back, and it doesn't always go this way, but I called that Iowa State game down to a T. I had Iowa State as a 4-point favorite on a neutral, and it played out perfectly. So don't fade me this year. I'm going to go 100% on my bets. But was happy to start the season 1-0 college football betting. It was a great start. So.
Smart guy right here, Conrad. That's why Z's here. This guy knows more than he lets on. That's for sure.
Definitely not. But one thing I will say,
look at those blinds. How could he not know more than he lets on?
He's in his mad office back there. Yeah.
Shout out to the guy that said this looks like a college apartment setup. If you would have seen my college apartment setup, you would realize this is much nicer than what I was actually situated in. So,
what dorm did you live in freshman year?
I was in Murray. Yeah, I was in Murray.
Okay, so you had it nice
because you were smart.
Yeah. I waited till.
What dorm were you in?
Dude, Hewlin. I was in Hewlin Hall, baby. I waited 2 weeks until I got to Tech to do my housing. Random roommate, shout out Marion, wherever you are. Dude thought he was Batman. He literally thought I was convinced my roommate was Batman. He would leave the dorm at like 11 o'clock at night with a Batman shirt on and would not come home until like 6, 7 a.m. And almost nightly. I was like, where is this? He's solving crime in Lubbock. So I hope he's doing well. But where were you, Conrad? I was in
Murdo, first floor, baby.
Okay.
The market.
Dude, you had it nice.
Between Murdo and Stengel, the market, hot take, best place to eat on campus. At least when we were there from 15. When I was in the dorm from fall 15, spring 2016, it was a fantastic place to eat. I even went back there after I moved out because the food there was great. You had Fazoli's, you had the salad bar, you had the salmon, you had the nacho bar. I mean, you had ice cream you could go get it. I mean, it was epic.
I'm sure.
I don't know if it's still the same. Maybe we should go do an episode from different places on campus.
Do an episode.
Absolutely not.
No, I would love to do an episode.
No, we all post up. We knock on our old dorm rooms. We say, "Hey, I'm Conrad with the Broadway Shuffle. We want to record an episode.
You'll be arrested.
Can I just borrow this room for a second? That'd be hilarious.
You'll be arrested.
Listeners, let us know what you think in the comments. Should we do that?
Conrad, I bet the way that you talked about that, I bet the freshman 15 hit you in like the first 2 months.
I was about to say, Conrad.
No, it didn't. It didn't because I parked half a mile away, and so I had to walk back and forth to my car. So it was a mile round trip every single time I parked. I parked in a parking garage, and so I was walking like crazy every single day. Obviously, the campus is huge, but then if I want to get to my car, and so it kept me fit. It kept the six-pack glowing.
Kept you trim. Okay,
he went over. He said the ice cream. He quickly went over but we know it was funny. Conrad, quick story on Conrad's six-pack. It was a real thing because at his rehearsal dinner, there were a bunch of pictures of him and like playing football. This guy was a good quarterback back in the day, believe it or not. And
I don't know about
he had shredded abs, and I'm like, who is this
guy? I do not believe that.
Where did I promise? I was there. I was like, where did this guy go? And maybe it was the ice cream at Murdo. I don't know.
Hey, everybody, we don't decide on our titles before the episodes, but after hearing Brennan's rant on my trim abs, we may have to put something about Conrad's abs in the video title. So comments, that was an opportunity that we maybe missed, because I know that won't be allowed, but maybe it's an opportunity we missed.
Dude, there was something about the market, man. That the feeling you got. I mean, walking in there, kids everywhere, new girls everywhere. You're just like, as an 18-year-old, it's like sensory overload when a freshman walking in. The food items, the opportunity to make friends. I mean, it was, man, I miss that place, Conrad. Great memory. I have a thing in front of me I wanted to bring up. I have a whiteboard here. Maybe I'm going to start doing this every episode, but I got a question of the episode. Where is Pine Bluff? That's the question for the episode.
I like it.
So let us know where it is. I think I'm going to start using this. It's my handy dandy whiteboard. So
I like it a lot.
It'll be fun.
Coach Brennan.
I'm going to start drawing up schemes during our reaction episodes. See how we do.
Why did we
one
not
day
call the
Joey will let
touchdown
you
play?
call a play?
One day I'll write it up for him next time we have him on the show. Which if you haven't listened to Joey on our show, go check it out. Great episode.
What would be funny though is if maybe on Saturday night at let's say 2 minutes left, there's a 2nd and 10, and it's a play call sponsored by the Broadway Shuffle. I think that'd be a great thing to institute. Probably won't happen, but I think that'd be a dream for me. I wonder if we all could agree on what play to call.
If we're up 61-0 or
4
up
verts.
61 points, maybe 4 verticals. Yeah,
Hey, that's the only play I know on College Football 26.
There you go. Run it. All right, well, let's get to our Tommy Tubervilles of the week. If you're new to the show, this is a weekly segment we do on Sunday nights. We go through the previous week, find someone essentially to make fun of who the fraud of the week was. Could be a team, could be a franchise, could be a beat reporter, could be anyone in the comment section. And we want you to be a part of our Tommies for this year. It's something we started last year. We'll be kind of sending out tweets each week on who Tommies could be. We'll pick one fan Tommy Tuberville of the week to announce on the show as well. So be looking out for who you think you might want to have be your Tommy Tuberville, and let us know in the comments, and we will pick a winner, and that'll be every Monday morning here throughout the whole football season. So without further ado, Conrad, I'll go to you first. Who is your Tommy Tuberville of the week?
Yeah, my Tommy Tuberville of the week. I initially thought it was going to be a coach that we already mentioned, former Texas Tech head coach Matt Wells. Great guy, fantastic guy. Sorry it didn't work out here on the field for him, but we got Coach McGuire out of it, so I'm not complaining there. But I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to shift a little bit. I want to make fun of Clayton's apartment's Wi-Fi, because that's the reason we don't have Clayton tonight. It's no fault of Clayton on his own. It's his apartment complex's Wi-Fi. So I don't know where he lives. If I did know where he lives, the exact name of the apartment complex, I probably wouldn't tell y'all anyway, just to protect Clayton's safety from the world. But Clayton's apartment complex Wi-Fi, you are my Tommy Tuberville of the week this week.
That's a good one. Yeah, we miss Clayton. Who would go after Clayton, you think? I don't know. That'd be kind of interesting if he started getting
Brennan,
hate
this
mail.
is the internet. You never know.
You never
There
know.
are people
That's a good
lurking in the
point.
shadows.
That's back-to-back weeks. You've switched up your Tommy. I think we've got to get you more locked in. Since it seems like you've been stressing since Shador Sanders, who I thought you were going to switch to actually because he got sacked 5 times.
Well, isn't he getting cut?
No, he's gonna make the 53.
Shiloh got cut, which would even be a better one for you.
Oh,
too.
that's who I said it was going to be. Oh, yeah, because he got ejected for throwing a punch, right?
Yeah, he threw a punch. Yeah. So I was thinking you were going the Sanders route, but maybe next week. Well, maybe we'll get it back.
Sorry. Thanks for reminding me. There's just so much overload in terms of sports Tommies that it's difficult. Shiloh Sanders, you can be my honorary Tommy of the week.
There you go. It's hard to do. All right, Z, who you got?
Well, we already kind of discussed him, but I was going to go the Johnson family, man. That is just a really tough look. To be fighting in general after a game is just not a great look. We've had a famed quarterback in our history whose father also had issues fighting in the stands. So I'm fully aware of that and how detrimental that is. Yeah, and then for it to be with your son, we've already gone over this, but that was just a really tough look. The Johnson family is my Tommy Tuberville of the week.
Yeah, hard not to be, man. If you beat up your kid, you're going to get called out. We're going to keep you accountable here. Yeah, tough scene. I've got another tough scene for mine, but it happened down across in Hawaii, Honolulu. Stanford football, man. I'm glad we got David Bailey on our roster. I'm actually kind of surprised he originally even thinking of staying based off what I watched on the plane yesterday. But man, this program, Stanford used to be one of the top programs. You had Jim Harbaugh coaching there, Christian McCaffrey, Andrew Luck, who's now their general manager. Toby Gerhart, like the OG C-Mac, I guess. And Andrew was there in the press box watching. Quarterback play was abysmal for Stanford. Hawaii was playing pretty much a quarterback on a bum leg the whole second half. He got bent pretty much backwards. They found a way to win. Good for the Rainbow Warriors. Sad for the Stanford Cardinal, man. To see that program where it is, not getting invite to the Big Ten, having to join the ACC for practically nothing. Stanford football, you are my Tommy Tuberville of the week. It's going to be a long season, it looks like, for the Cardinal. So tough, man. I feel bad for Andrew Luck. I like that guy. Smart guy. He was a good guy.
I do. They'll be back. I believe in Luck.
Okay, we'll see, man. Yeah, they've got Frank Wright coaching them, who was the Colts
that roster is just so bad.
It is.
That QB performance, I think if it was on EPA per drop back, if they maintain that standard, it'll be the worst passing attack in like the last 25 years or something like that. It was actively harmful.
That's what it looked like.
Every time they drop back.
That is really what it looked like. It was really sad to watch. I mean, I felt bad watching it. I was cringe. Okay, and then do you have Z, do we have a shuffler Tommy?
We do.
Do we have one that we picked for week 0?
I couldn't decide. There were 2 of them, so I'm going to shout them out. And this guy responded almost immediately, so he's going to get a shout out. Reckham7 on Twitter. I said, "Who's the Tommy Tuberville of the week?" And he immediately responds with, "My wife. She has a baby shower during the Utah game weekend," and that's all he elaborated with. So, Reckham7, I appreciate you and your commitment to reserving the day for Texas Tech football. And then, another guy I want to shout out, Nate Wright. He said Auburn in general. Now, I do feel bad for one of our loyal listeners, Travis Eubanks. He's a huge Auburn fan, but he mentioned Auburn in general as his Tommy Tuberville of the week. And Hugh Freeze saying that all 3 quarterbacks are going to play against Baylor and that they do still have their 3 play caller situation going in, which I do think is a little bit overblown. But they've just got a lot going on down there. They did just sign a 5-star, so very cool for them. But yeah, he mentioned Auburn, and I think that was a really good one that I definitely considered this week as well.
Gosh, man, this is going to be fun. And you know how we used to do, we kind of did when we were trying to grow more subscribers, like our subscriber of the week. I guess whoever wins the Tommy of the week from the subscribers, we'll shout you out as a subscriber. That's your honor. You get your flowers there if you get picked, and your Tommy gets picked as well. So it's going to be a ton of fun, man. Man, we are signing off on a Sunday night for the last time where we're not going to be reacting to a football game until December. So that was our first off season. We had never gone through an off season on the Broadway Shuffle. We are now officially, it was our birthday or anniversary. Dude, was it the 22nd? So are we 22nd. Now a year old?
We're a year old.
We are a year old.
We're still in diapers. We're still figuring this out.
Yeah. Dude, and I guess to that point, we're going to be rolling out some really cool, and I know we keep saying that, but we're going to be enhancing a lot of especially the video stuff that we're doing. A lot of really neat stuff coming down the pipeline. We've got some really cool stuff that is obviously not ready to launch yet, but we're working on it, and it's going to be awesome. I'm really excited the direction that we're taking this.
Yes, unfortunately, it moves a little slow because this is not our full-time thing yet. But if you like and subscribe, it maybe could be. It's totally free, and it's free to us. It costs us a little money, but not much. But we would love if you would subscribe and support us. It does help, and we're excited to take the Broadway Shuffle to a different level in season 2, man. It's going to be a ton of fun. So we will be back on Thursday to preview Arkansas Pine Bluff and get ready for a football game. I cannot wait, man. Texas Tech football is here 2025. It's going to be a blast. So, gentlemen, I'll see you guys on Thursday. We miss Clayton. Clayton, hope you're doing well. I know you won't be listening this far tomorrow, but we'll make fun of you for it later in the week. So for Zyler and Conrad, I am Brennan, and we will catch you guys next time on the Broadway Shuffle. Wreck 'em.
He makes the catch. He's going all the way. 20, 15.